Morning guys, this is today's egg collection. As you can see, the hens are laying extremely well. Just thought I'd give you a quick look at that. There must be 20 eggs there at least, and I only have 30 hens. Catch you later, bye. Morning guys, Saturday the 23rd of May 2020. Hope everybody's staying safe, being practical and keeping themselves out of harm's way. So today I'm back on the new mobile phone, testing this out now because it dawned on me that the settings in the actual camera weren't set correctly, so we've now got it on full HD, so hopefully the quality of the video will be better now. Plus I have no alternative. Like a numpty, I came up here this morning, brought up the camera and everything, charged batteries, made sure I had the microphone, all the rest of it, and then found out I forgot to put the memory card back in the camcorder after I'd taken it out to take the footage off from last week to put onto the laptop. So I have a very handy camera sitting there in the box without a memory card, so I can't do anything with it at the moment. So we'll put the memory card back in tomorrow, and then we'll bring that up tomorrow and use that. But hopefully this is going to be a lot better, because I'd noticed that the settings weren't correct on the camera. It isn't that they weren't correct, I just hadn't set them properly, so hopefully this is a lot better. I also noticed on the playback of the video from the little semi-professional camera that I didn't have it at the best quality on that either. And although I was relatively happy with the short range shots, the long distance shots, the long distance shots were good, but the short range shots were a bit distorted. And again, I hadn't got the settings correct on the camera. That's now been rectified, so hopefully things are going to be much better now, guys. I got myself one of those little 360 follow me gadgets as well. So basically it's a little device. It sits somewhere or on top of a tripod even, and it hooks up to your phone by Bluetooth. And once you set it to start recording, and as you move around, the device turns and follows you. And I've done some preliminary tests with it, and it seems to be a good little piece of kit. So another little tip, guys, in case anybody hasn't thought of this or isn't aware, but for those on allotments and they're wanting something to eat that's warm, if you don't have any electricity or any means of doing so, what I done this morning, I had a couple of bacon and chicken slices in the house. So I warmed those up in the microwave, and then I wrapped them in tin foil and then put them in my bed box, and I brought those up with me. And that will actually keep them warm for about an hour. And I'm just having a cup of coffee now, so by the time I got up here, got all the birds fed, checked in the greenhouse, checked over in the growing area, put the kettle on and made this, took out the chicken and bacon slices, they were just perfect for eating. So yeah, I've just had those and enjoyed them thoroughly. So over in the garden, I've had a quick look over there this morning, and everything's looking quite good over there. Apart from the little blackbird that keeps on digging the holes over there, and I have to keep levelling it out with my foot. But yeah, it is what it is. It has been back in the beds again, upturned a few more of the primroses yet again. But the winds that we're getting up here today is pretty devastating again. They've snapped more branches off the blackberry bushes. I don't think I'm going to get anything off those at all this year. Again, we'll just have to accept it. It is what it is. Came up here Tuesday evening and watered the plants in the greenhouse. Put 12 litres of water on the bed. I've been up Wednesday and Thursday and Friday evening as well, obviously because I paid the birds up last week. and I wanted to keep an eye on those. So some of the cocks were being a little bit aggressive with the hens, but I'm pleased to say that now they're all settled now. All the females know which boxes they're going back to with the males. A couple of them have actually laid eggs already. Whether they'll be fertile or not, I doubt it, because they're too soon. It's quite possible that hen was going to lay because it had been paired with one of the females in the other shed prior to being put with a male. So there's a good possibility the eggs won't be full anyways, but I'll keep an eye on that. I'll know in 7 to 8 days, and they can just be throughout and they can go back down and lay again if they aren't. So most of the birds have now found the boxes, as I say. They're all starting to go back and forward into the boxes, and all the males are trying to chase them and drive them into the boxes because that's where they want them. For those that don't know anything about pigeons and how they breed. I know trees are wanting me to do a few videos on the pigeons as and when I started pairing them. So this information is mainly aimed at Teresa and anybody else who doesn't know and would like to know. So the birds are now settled down in both sheds. So now that that's happened and they're settled down, I've now opened the lets back into the aviaries. So now they got more room to fly about. There's more chasing can be done, which stimulates the females, but also lets them get out of the way and get a bit of respite if they need to, away from the males. And it has a double whammy in the fact that once they're settled and they're down on eggs and they are sitting, what happens is the males will sit in the morning, the females will sit in the evening. So when that happens is I can put a bath in the aviary then, and then the females can come out and get the bath and enjoy it. And then vice versa, the males will come out while the females are on the eggs, and they'll come out and enjoy it also. The bath is also, to me, an essential part of the breeding, because the birds, after having a bath, take the moisture back into the nests, and they actually dump down the eggs, which keeps the humidity just right, which aids in your hatchability and getting 100% hatchability, or not, as the case may be. So I like to give the birds at least 2 or 3 baths during the incubation period of about 18 days. Anyways, guys, I'm rambling on a little bit. I'm going to have this cup of coffee, and then we'll catch up with you later and give you a little look around at what we're doing and what we're not doing. See you later, and stay safe. Okay, guys, so we're in the polytunnel now. I'll just give you a quick look around in here. I'm not going to dwell too long because things are looking quite good actually, and I'm pretty pleased. So as you can see, the butternut squash now, I was informed by the father-in-law you can actually grow them up a string like this. So we've taken out the canes now. This one was getting a bit tall, so we've actually got that tied up on a string now and got it going up there. There's a lot of flower on that one now. But I'm also being told, as I say, I've never grew these before, but I'm being told that there's male and female flowers on these plants. Now, he says the batch that he had all male flowers, which means they don't produce fruit if you get all male flowers. And I'm sure, I'm not certain, but I don't know the difference. So I'm just going to leave them to the devices. I'll either get something or I won't. It's as simple as that. The other one in this corner here is also putting out quite a bit of flower. All the greenery is looking good on them now. Again, it's up on a string. It did turn out to be that I wasn't watering these beds enough, even though they were in beds on a no-dig system. I wasn't watering them enough. Since watering a bit more often, as you can see, the spring onions, some of them are nearly ready for picking. But yeah, so I'm really, really delighted. Moving on to the peppers, you can see these are doing much, much better now. The chili, one of the chili plants there, yeah, it's doing okay as well. So I ended up with only 3 all year round cauliflowers there out of that entire bed. Not sure whether the seeds being rubbish or what, but I won't say I didn't play a part in the bad germination. These are really, really, really going for it now. These are the big salad tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, if you will, that I bought from Morrison's. There was only the 2 plants that I bought, and as you can see, that one isn't doing as well as this one. However, one of them was slightly bigger than the other when I first purchased them. Again, another little chili, looking extremely healthy now. a look at the strawberries. Came up yesterday and these were actually pretty dried out. So I've had them soaking in water again and got plenty of water in them. And there's quite a number of these now starting to burst into flower. So we've got one there in flower. Another one there, 2, 3. And that one's just starting there, 4. That one did have a little bit of fruit on, but I've cut it off because the plant isn't really established properly yet to produce the fruit. So I cut off the little branch that was producing some tiny strawberries. I cut that off, basically, to give the plant a chance to get it started grow up. As you can see, so a lot more stunted than these are as a result of trying to produce strawberries. I replanted the 2 little cucumbers into bigger pots and some fresh compost. I only done that the other day, so there's not a marked change in those. These are the little suckers that I planted off the other tomato plants. One of them's actually starting to put a truss on, ironically, so they've actually taken. As you can see, they look quite healthy. That one's off the big mama. And of course what will happen here, guys, is I'm going to leave those to thrive. And then we're going to put them in this bed here. Once I take all this shelving back out of here, guys. I'm almost finished now. Up here we've got the little snow globe turnips. Hopefully they're going to try and get those planted today, tomorrow or Monday, as we've got a bank holiday. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've got six Brussels sprouts plants, enough for me. And then I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the purple sprout and broccoli. That'll also do for me. Still got the little French dwarf beans that need to go out sooner rather than later. And I never did get the peas planted, but as you can see, I almost lost these yesterday as I forgot to water them. I had a plastic cloth over the top thinking they were okay. Forgot to water them. Anyway, I soaked them last night and they're starting to recover. That's me soak tray basically, where I put everything. It's just a nice quick way of watering while you get on with other things. You can just pop them in there and leave them to start soaking. So yeah, in here, again, the tomatoes are all doing exceptionally well now. You can see the height of them now. They're all getting to the 2nd truss, or even some of them starting on the 3rd truss. But yeah, some are doing much better than others. Then we've got the little lettuces are coming along, little iceberg lettuces are coming along in leaps and bounds. Cucumbers, as you can see, they're really going for it now. But something has started eating the leaf on that one, as you can see. Other lettuces, little onions are all doing well now. Another little lettuce. And more of the tomato plants, obviously. I've got a bit of a bold area here, guys, where I pulled out the tomato plant that died. So I've got quite an area here. So what I'm probably going to do, under here, I've got some of the little oriental spicy leaves and a couple of the mustard plants that survived. So what I'm going to basically do with those, rather than put them outside, I'm just going to dot them in this area around here. And possibly be down the back here. I might just pull out that one radish plant there. Although it's coming on, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'll just plant around it. It's due to be pulled out in about a week or so. So we'll leave it till then. These 2 iceberg lettuces here, absolutely really going for it, as you can see. Looking absolutely marvellous, really healthy. Really pleased with it. Seem to have got the watering right now, guys. That's also a bit of a thanks to Teresa as well. I was of the impression, being on the no-dig system, that obviously you need to water a lot less. But watering a lot less doesn't mean don't water it all for 2 weeks. And I did do that at one point. But obviously, since about every 3rd day now, I'm giving these a drink. Weather dependent, obviously. If it's damp and miserable like it is now, but they won't get watered today. They were watered last night, Friday evening, and you can see there's still plenty of moisture even sitting on the top of the beds. Now these won't get watered again for at least another 3 days unless we get really, really hot weather again. But I'm hoping we're going to get some rain so I can get some water in my rain barrels. We did get a little bit last weekend, and I think it put about 20 litres in there. That was gone with 2 waterings of these plants. So I'm still praying for a bit of rain, guys, and hopefully we're going to get some. Catch you later. So we're into the garden now, guys. As you've seen on that little brief clip there, as I was walking across, I actually caught 2 jackdaws sitting in here. And I thought some of these holes were just a bit too big for the blackbird. However, I was convinced it was the blackbird. I've just watched the jackdaws digging holes, and they're actually picking up these wood chips and they're carrying off the wood. So they're quite possible they're taking them for nesting material, etc. And that would certainly make sense as to why some of these hollows are really deep. One down here, I'm not sure how well it's coming out on the camera, but yeah. So some of them are really, really deep. See if I can pick a couple of these out. One there, another one there, and a heck of a bald patch here. So yeah, so I'm just going to give you a quick look in this garden now, guys. As you can see, potatoes all doing really well now, guys, especially with that little bit of rain that we got last week. It wasn't a lot, but as I say, it's obviously done the potatoes really good. I got some cauliflower given off my father-in-law. Now, they're not the traditional cauliflower. Apparently they grow green and they grow up in a spiral like that. But apparently they're very tasty, so yeah. In here, there's still no sign of the carrots that I directly sowed. Still no sign of the spring onions. But as you can see, the radish are now starting to come through. And there's 3 rows of radish. And they're a bit higgledy-piggledy as the wind was blowing about when I was trying to do that. But these are the cauliflowers, guys. So there's 9 plants in total. I planted these on, I think it was Thursday evening. And they've all already taken and got established and doing well. So nothing in this bed yet here, guys. I've taken off the fleece on the lettuce bed. In these first 2 rows here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 oriental spicy leaves. And then in the next one we've got 3 mustard plants. Although I'm a bit dubious about this purple one, because that looks very much like the spicy oriental, unless they are the mustard plants, and that's somehow got mixed up in the spicy leaf. But the spicy leaf gives different types. As you can see, there's different foliage. Not sure how well you can see this, guys, but you've got different sort of types of plants. So whether they're a combination and a mixture of plants or not, I don't know. Next to that, we've got the little icebergs, plenty of. Got 15 of those in total. Some doing better than others. 1 or 2 of them were a lot smaller when they were transplanted, i.e. that one there. But some are doing better than others, as you can see. And then we've got the little gems next to that, as you can see, all doing exceptionally well. And then we've got our Lola Rosa, the 10 plants that is 2, 4, 6, no, 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, 10 plants in total that survived, and they're all doing exceptionally well as well, guys, as you can see now. So another week or 2 we'll be able to start picking from these. Assuming the caterpillars and snails and whatever you don't get them first. I'm going to try and put a bit of Enviromesh over this bed, possibly today or tomorrow. Then in the next bed, this is the framing for the peas to go into today, hopefully. And then we've got another 2 rows of radish down here. You can never have too much radish, I do like radish. I did lose one of the courgettes. Something had pulled it out of the ground and it was just lying dead on the top of the ground on Thursday evening. The other one is still here, and as you can see, doing really well now. So it's a sole survivor. Hopefully it'll produce enough. And then I've got my turnips that I planted about 2 weeks ago. Plenty of those, about 20 in there as well. And then I've got my runner beans, which are all doing well now. Then we have our other bed of early potatoes. All looking really well. I think one plant got a bit of frosting on it. Sorry, I'm not sure whether the wind's affecting, how bad the wind's affecting this, guys, but I know I did see, yeah, here we go. So, as you can see, a bit of frost got at that one. But thankfully, and fingers crossed, we didn't have too much damage on that. So, there we go. So sorry about the camera work today, guys. I'm afraid it's a bit all over the place. I'm trying to shield the microphone on the phone and video at the same time and zoom in and out, and it's not working very well today. Never mind. Rhubarb doing okay in there. Yeah, not a great deal to report in these little beds other than the birds have been digging. As you can see, they're throwing the wood chip all over the beds. They're digging in them. These are 4 Sarp or Mira potatoes that were planted in here. These are actually the main crop. 2 of them have got really established. A third one's came up, but the 4th one hasn't yet and may not. Then next to that, we've got the onions all looking really well, as you can see. But the black currants now, guys, as you can see, they're looking dire. There's hardly any branches left on them. The wind's snapped them off. Here, look, let me just show you here. Look at the state of this. The wind has been so strong, it's just been bending them and snapping them right off. I'm not sure I'll get anything out of them at all. Even the little gooseberries are suffering a bit at the moment. So, yeah. Okay, guys, so that's just a little quick update over in the garden. Quick look at the chickens. You can see this is starting to green up a bit now as a result of getting some water. So yeah. Okay, guys, catch you later, bye. Okay, guys, so I decided I'm going to make some hoops for the frame beds over here. And as you can see, I've already made a start on this particular bed here. Now what it is, I found a load of 20mm water pipe that I had lying about in a pile of junk behind the polytunnel, and I forgot I had actually had this. So I've basically measured the Enviromesh, which is 2 meters wide, and I've cut each of these bits of poly pipe into 70-inch strips. And that should, in theory, get the Enviromesh over and be able to get a lat down this side of the bed to hold the Enviromesh up against the bed, and leave me a tail on this side also to get another lat down that side of the bed, so we can crimp it over the top. Now obviously the length of the bed, I think these are just short of 8 feet, so I'm going to have to make sure when I cut the Enviromesh that I don't forget to come across from the 8 foot plus the length down to the ground, and then likewise on that side there. So if ever you're going to do this yourselves, guys, make sure you don't forget about the length, because you're going to need that plus this plus that for your length. Okay, guys, so basically what it is, I've got these bits of poly pipe, cut a load of it, cut it all up basically, because it was just a nuisance and all tangled up, laying about behind the polytunnel. So I've cut all these into 70-inch strips. This is what suits my beds. Obviously, if you're doing it for your beds, you'll need to make the measurements accordingly. So I've got all of these. I've got out that what I can. That's what I've managed to salvage out of it all. And basically my intention is to go down at least the brassica beds and any plants that need protection really. This gives this a nice height as well, which is it's approximately 2 feet high, and because this pipe is quite rigid, as you can see, it should stay put. And all I've done is I've simply drove 2 screws at the base of each side, and then I just bend it into shape and fasten the screws up tight. And that's just the box of screws that I use. They're actually plasterboard screws, these, because they've got a really sharp point on them, and they just bed themselves, and you don't need to drill a hole in the pipe first. They will just find their own grip. I use these exclusively around the loft. I even build the garage and everything with these. They're just such a good quality screw. And the other thing is, they don't rust, but if ever you do get one with a dodgy head, they're also designed to just snap, which they do, and you can still retrieve your timber. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm basically just concentrating on getting these hoops made for the beds. That's going to be another little job out the way. Catch you later, guys. Bye. Okay, guys, just a quick update. So what we've done now is we've got all these in here. Got all the hoops in. Got all the plastic hooping or water pipe that we cut. As I say, it's 70 inches long. We've got them in down these 2 beds here. I know we haven't got anything in this bed yet, but we will eventually. As you can see from here, I've purposely left a gap between the edge of the beds and the hoop itself. That's because the mesh will tuck in down there with a brick or something on top to hold it down inside these beds. Obviously, because I butted these beds together. With hindsight, yeah, we should have left a gap roughly like that, but we didn't, so there we go. And I've also got the ones put in over the lettuces. I need to go and try and see if I can find out where I put the Enviromesh at for to at least get them lettuces covered over. But yeah. So what I did notice as well while I was doing this, guys, was some of these runner beans, the leaves looked like they'd been bitten off and they were on the ground. I've also noticed the frost has actually got at these as well, so it's potentially the ruin. I don't know. We'll leave them and see how they come on. But yeah, took the Enviromesh off this bed. As you can see, I'm not sure whether to start all over again with this. The cabbages are still healthy and they are showing signs of greenery now, and I'm seriously thinking about digging these out of here and transplanting them in that bed over there. Or putting sort of 3 down here and sacrifice that row of radish, and then getting 2 rows of 3 down here with the lettuce. That'll be the 8 plants. So I'm seriously thinking about doing that. However, the rain's coming on now, guys. I'm going for a cup of coffee and see if I can find this Enviromesh. So I'll catch you later, guys. Bye. Hi again, guys. So I'm back in the shed now. As you can see, I made all these little tunnel hoops over there. A couple of good positives out of that is, one, I had the materials that were just lying around as a pile of junk sitting in a corner. 2, I've now managed to utilise that and make it useful. 3, I've saved a few bob in the process of doing it. And I had it ready to hand as well, so that's another bonus. Because it's plastic, it doesn't rot. The way that I've actually done it, with just 2 screws pinned in the bottom into the sides of the beds, means in winter, after I've taken the mesh off, I can simply unscrew it and put it away in the garage and leave it for the following year. While I dress that down the beds and put cardboard over again, or plastic to to keep them from getting waterlogged and full of weeds during the winter period. So that's a really good bonus, and made use of some junk lying around in the pen. So when I was over in the garden, I changed the camera back down to a lesser setting because I have no memory card in this phone. It does have 128 gig, but I didn't want to run out of video space for today's videoing. I've now got it back on the full HD again while I'm here in the shed because it's making really large files. And of course I've then got to download it from the phone onto the laptop, video edit it, and then upload it to YouTube. And that's the drawback with the size of the files. So yeah, right, so that's a really positive as a day's work so far. It's actually taken about an hour and a half. I know it looks a simple process, but getting them just right, lined up in one thing and another, it still took about an hour and a half. I found the Enviromesh, so I'm going to go back over there after this cup of coffee and I'm going to get that on at least over the lettuces, and potentially the cauliflowers as well. I might I've got a feeling I'm going to dig them cabbages out and transplant them. They're not looking healthy at all. Well, they're alive, but they're not looking healthy and they haven't come on the way they should have. Not in that bed anyways. So they're going to be dug out of that bed and transplanted into one of the other beds where stuff does appear to be growing okay. I'm not sure why they're not growing in there. And it might just be that they had that bad start where I wasn't giving them enough water, guys. But because I was running low of the precious stuff in the rain barrels, that was part of the reason. I couldn't water them as often as I would have liked to, but there we go. Maybe if I get them into one of the other beds, they'll start to pick up. So I'm perhaps going to plant one or two of the other brassicas while I'm at it. Perhaps the Brussels sprouts and the purple sprouted broccoli. As I said, there's only 4 and 6 respectively of those. So I might put those in along with those cabbages. And I might throw some little clumps of those snowball turnips in the same bed. I don't mind if they're in relative close proximity to each other. You don't want them massive anyway, so they just turn out woody. So you only want them sort of that size, and that'll do. So I need to try and cram as much as I can into that last bed that I've got. Obviously, once the other turnips start to pull those, I'm not going to leave those to get too big either. Once the early potatoes come up, I can use them beds again. So I might start off some more lettuces and spring onions and things like that sometime over this weekend. Not necessarily today, but conscious that once the potatoes come out, I'll have those beds back again and I can reuse those. So yeah, that's my intentions, guys. I'm just going to have this cup of coffee. We'll catch up with you later and we'll show you what we got done, if anything. That's if the rain doesn't beat me. Catch you later. Bye. Okay guys, so you can lose so much time at the allotment. Can't believe what time it is already. It's 5 o'clock. So basically what I've done, I've run out of Enviromesh. So what I've done is I've got this one through over in as a temporary measure for the time being. And the reason for that is because I've planted out in this bed now. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see this through the mesh or not. But basically what I've done is I've put the 4 broccoli plants in there. Then the next row I have 4 Brussels sprouts. I've transplanted the cabbages from over in that other bed and put these in here. So I've put 3 of those. Put 3 of those in here. Then we've got planted the little snow globe turnips. We've got all those put in this bed over here. Still got a sort of fair bit here that we can plant in. In here, as you can see, we've got the lower rows of lettuces, followed by the little gems, etc, etc. And then I put 5 of those cabbages from the other bed in here. So that's that bed entire. I just used some space up that was in that bed there. So that's pretty much that's them all planted out anyways, guys. 99% of everything. It's only a temporary measure, the Enviromesh over here, and I've run out of it, of course, but it's rather expensive. So what I've done is I've actually ordered some debris netting 2 meters wide, which is what this is, which is what this stuff is, and it's just as good as anything else for protecting brassicas and one thing and another. Plus it provides a bit of shade as well in hot weather. So I've ordered that. I get a 50-meter roll by 2 meters for 28 quid or something like that. I do have some debris netting. Unfortunately, it's only the 1 meter wide stuff, so it won't span these hoops. I will find a more. I can't get to a wood merchant's to get any lats, and I thought I had some, but I haven't. So I'm basically just having to pin the Enviromesh down with posts that I've got lying about and some bricks that I've managed to find, and yeah, we've just pinned it down with that. At least it just helps to keep butterflies off and things like that, at least, if nothing else. So just another quick update, guys. That's what we got done today. It doesn't look much, but it does take a little while. This bed over here where I took out the cabbages, you do still have the carrots in there for what good they are. I think I've pretty much lost them actually, but I'm not sure what's wrong with this bed. I think it wants a good dosing of horse manure on top. Or it might just have been that because I was scarce on water, they just didn't get the necessary watering at the time, and that's probably what's caused it. But what I'm going to do is just going to leave them carrots and see if they actually do pick up and pull through. The primroses are still surviving in that bed, ironically, as you can see. It's just the carrots aren't looking any good. I'm not even going to bother covering them over, guys. If they pull through, they pull through. If they don't, they don't. As I say, I have directly sown some in here, so we'll wait and see if they pop up, and then we'll get some mesh over here as well. Try and protect them. So for now, guys, that's it. We'll catch you later. Okay, guys, so I'm back in the shed again now. Just finished off tidying over in the garden, putting the hose pipe away again and everything. I got all the seedlings watered in, basically. Otherwise, it would have just been a complete waste of time and effort today. So I've got all those watered in, re-watered in the cabbages since they've been transplanted as well. And whilst I was at it, I give all the other plants a little bit of a drink. Really getting desperate now. The sun's blazing again. The wind's still up, but I'm not getting any water in my IBCs, guys. Excuse me. I really need to could do with some water in there. A good downpour, not necessarily for the actual growing area in the garden, but more to put the water in the barrels at the IBC so that I have some water as and when needed. Sorry, I'm belching here. I also apologise for the sniffling on the video when I was over videoing what I had done with the Enviromesh. Basically, I'm still full of cold and I can't shake it off, basically. So I've been sniffing like I don't know what. So I can only apologise for that, guys. You'll just have to bear with me until I get rid of this cold. Today's been a long but productive day. It doesn't look like I got a great deal done. However, it's very time consuming transplanting little seedlings and one thing and another. And as you very well know, it's been a good day though, because I've got all of the brassicas out except 6 cauliflowers, which may or may not make it even. So there's really only those to go outside now. Everything else that I've left in the polytunnel, it can pretty much go in the polytunnel and in the beds. And then I can get all the framing taken away. And just put 1 or 2 trays of spring onions and lettuces ready for when the beds are empty with the potatoes. So yeah, productive day, a good job as I keep saying, and that's pretty much it for today. I bet you're saying thank God. Right, so it's 6 o'clock now. I'm just finishing this cup of coffee off here, and then I'm going to make my way home. I was a little bit later getting up here today, so it was probably about 10:30, and by the time I'd done all the birds and everything, it was probably going on 20 past 11 o'clock. 20 past 11 o'clock, yeah. 20 past 11 this morning before I even made a start, so that's why it's running so late. But at least I've had a relatively productive day. Again, I didn't get through a video without making mistakes, but there we go. If you get a chuckle out of it, so be it. For now, guys, stay safe, take care, be practical. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And then hit the little bell icon on the right of the subscribe button. And any comments you have, please put them in the sections below. That would be good. 40 subscribers now, I noticed, as of last night. Welcome aboard, Graham, new subscriber. Hope you enjoy the videos going forward, guys. Take care.